My name is Heather Kelly, and my husband was Chris Kelly, and he was a very fun man who was also an RCMP and worked for Sutina Police Force. I lost Chris in June of 2020. He unfortunately succumbed to an illness called necrotizing pancreatitis. I remember playing baseball with the boys and Dad. And Chris had wanted to be a police officer since he was 5. He was adopted at the age of 9 months. He was originally from the Fort McKay Nation. He went to Gleason, that was his first posting, and they were a First Nations posting. And I think it was there, when he started working there, that he really started to realize his heritage. He just treated everyone, no matter what, anyone he was dealing with dignity and respect. Finally, just after probably 3 or 4 years, confessed to me, he said, you know what, I just am finding it really hard when I have to go to a suicide of anyone, but especially children. We had girls that were the same age as the kids that he was dealing with day in and day out. And so that really started kind of where the PTSD came from. At first, Chris tried to hide it, so he would just kind of go downstairs and hibernate in our basement and watch TV down there, which is a sign kind of getting out of the sunlight, being in the dark, kind of being in a cave. And then he also had really bad night terrors. Most of the time, they would be of one of us dying. So the girls dying, me dying. So once he realized that, the night terrors, he's like, I gotta go get help. So he'd said to me, he's like, I think I have PTSD. 20 years ago, nobody talked about it. Nobody talked about going to get psychological help. Nobody talked about seeing a psychologist. And the crap that they see day in and day out, that is their norm and is not our norm at all. We don't see any of that stuff because they do their job. The OSI clinic in Calgary, which had opened up their doors, and they specialized in PTSD. So he got a lot of help that way, and then continued on after that. And I would ask him, I'm like, so a couple years later, I said, do you still think that you have PTSD? He's like, oh yeah, it's still there. But he goes, I know how to deal with it now, and I know that it's not my world.
Remember when Dad used to show up at school and sit with you at lunch?
Yeah, it's really embarrassing.
What I would like families to know about mental health issues is that luckily in this day and age, there's so much out there that they can access. But it's like anything like cancer, like a broken bone. Those are all looked after immediately. And when they're looked after immediately, you do well, you heal, you recover. And PTSD is no different, no different. Like as soon as you find those symptoms, get help, because it is something that can be helped.